Hi friends, today we're making a carrot soap. It's a very simple recipe. It's goat's milk, olive oil, coconut oil, and pureed carrots. I don't have a food processor, so I just buy baby food for my carrots and make sure you check the ingredients and see that it does not have sugar. So I always check. It's just carrots and water in my baby food. So that's if you have a food processor and you're good at cooking, you can puree your own carrots. What else is in it? The lye. I have a really good quality lye from a company in Edmonton, and I've shown you that container. And the frozen goat's milk. So what you see me doing here right now is I'm adding the lye to my goat's milk. It's frozen so it doesn't burn. I'm not terribly concerned with it turning orange because this is a carrot soap. However, I don't want the soap to go through gel phase. I have made this soap several times before, and I have had it go through gel phase, and I have had it not go through gel phase, and I just thought that the appearance of the soap was better if I did not let it gel. So for me to avoid gel phase, I keep this goat's milk and lye mixture cold by starting from ice cubes, and I'm watching the temperature, and if it gets too hot, I will stop and put it in an ice bath, but I never had to do that with this soap. What I'm doing here is slowly mixing the lye in. It takes about 20 minutes for this step. I'm making two batches. The 4-pound batch, which is the recipe that I shared in the beginning of this video, and I'm also making a second 2-pound batch. I almost always make a little 2-pound batch. I use it for piping some soap on the top or building up the top with texture. And I also make some little guest soaps, sample soaps for myself and friends to try. And what I'm doing here is I'm checking, see it's turned a little bit orange. So I'm showing you all the lye is dissolved and the milk looks a touch orange. You can smell a little bit of ammonia, not too bad. There's no scent in this soap. It's meant for people who have sensitive skin and scent sensitivities. That's why it has so few ingredients. I'm adding a small bit of colorant to two. I'm going to separate it in three. I'm going to keep just fresh batter with not even the carrot in it in one section. I'm going to make another very small bit of batter white, add just a touch of white. It's not going to be terribly white. And then I'm putting some aside for piping the top. And I'm going to add that yellow shimmer mica to the soap that will be piped on the top. Now I'm ready here, adding my lye and goat milk to my oils, and I'm stick blending it. It is very slow to trace this soap because it doesn't have any fragrances added to it, and it's very high content of olive oil. The reason I have kept this recipe simple is because it is for people with allergies. So my customers can try it and know what's in it. It's just olive oil and coconut oil. And if you're not allergic to either of those things and carrots, this soap should be a good soap for you. There are some people having a very hard time right now finding soaps without additives. Everything has fragrances and everything has colorants. And although I'm adding this bit of yellow, if someone is sensitive, they can cut off the yellow, or I can make a special batch for them without any additives. I still have some from last year as well that had no colorants added to it. The reason I am making the piping is due to some feedback from last year. I worked at craft shows. I think I did 5 Christmas craft shows and some craft shows in the fall. And a lot of my feedback from those shows were my customers telling me that my soaps were too small. Not every customer, but maybe 75% thought that my soaps should be just a little bit bigger. They weren't impressed with my soaps that were made just to fit my 4-pound mold. They've probably seen soaps in other craft shows, and that's what they're expecting, some more high top. So I've added this year just a little bit of piping to get a bit of a larger bar. So here's my 2-pound batch that you see me mixing there. I've added a half of a can of baby food to that batch. And I'm just mixing it up to trace. And then I'm going to set it aside because this is mostly for the piping. Here I'm going to pour out just a little bit. This will be my raw batter that I'm going to add. My design of this soap is going to be an in the pot swirl using the carrot soap, so it's going to be orange batter. Some raw without carrot, which is what I've set aside there. Well, less carrot than the other batch will have, and white. So here I'm going to add the yellow shimmer. This is from Candora Soap. They are in Ontario. I've ordered this online because I'm in Alberta, so I have everything shipped to me. And they're very nice. What I like is that their colorants came in these Ziploc bags. And then I'm adding titanium dioxide. This is from a company in Edmonton called Creations from Eden. Again, I've ordered that one online, but I go pick it up because I'm close to Edmonton. And I like to go in and chat and pick that one up. So here I'm this is for my piping, so I want it to be thick. So I'm giving this a lot of stick blending to thicken it up. And the white titanium dioxide, I've also found and read from others that this thickens up your soap faster. So it's another reason I've added it to this little batch here that will be used later to pipe the tops of the soap. It's not going to be a high top, it's just a bit of rosettes added for texture. I have tried before using the spoon to texture the top. The reason I don't want to do that this year is you need to pull away from the side of the mold to get your texture up. And it ended up making my bar look smaller. That might have been what my customers didn't really like. They thought my soaps were a bit too small for the price I was asking. And price I was asking was fair based on ingredients. It wasn't too much. So this year my bars are getting, maybe it's the economy. My bars are getting bigger and my price is coming down a bit. So here I've added the rest of the carrot to this. So this one should get a bit more orange than the other batch. And carrot is very refreshing and healing. It's, if you know anyone that has skin problems, a good idea is for them to try the carrot soap. So that's I have mentioned to some people to give this a try. I've given away some of these bars of soap from my last batch, so people could see if this soap works for them and they can order it. Come by my home, pick it up, or I'll ship it to you. It's a nice, pure, natural soap. I'm pouring out. You can see I had a little spill there. I'm going to clean it up in a moment. There we go, clean up crew. So here I am mixing up my main batch of batter. And I'm about to do an in the pot swirl. That's my white. So I gave my white a couple blasts with the stick blender. Now I'm going to pour high from above in 4 different places. Give it a quick swirl, and then I pour it in my mold. So I'm pouring out my batter and my white mixture from quite high because I want gravity to take it down into the pot. You see, there's not much of a differentiation here in colors. It's an orange from the carrot, uh, more of a beige from the pure batter, and then the white. So you see, it's a very faint swirl. I don't want it to be too much because this is for my target audience or customers are people who have sensitive skin. So I don't want to go too much into bright colors on this bar of soap. And I was happy. It looks a bit muted now, but I'm hoping that when I cut it, that you're going to see some very pretty swirls in there. Just little wisps of white. That's all I'm looking for. Now, between the time I poured it and now when I'm piping it was actually about half an hour. I just didn't show you that. That'd be boring. What I did was I put my soap outside. It's about -10 here where I'm living. That's Celsius, -10 Celsius. And so I kept this soap cold outside so it wouldn't go into gel phase on me. It was very fluid, so I didn't want to put it in my freezer yet. I have actually spilt my soap doing that. So now I've got my piping. I'm going to pipe rosettes on the top, and then I'm done. I will leave this. It's going to be in the freezer overnight, and then I take it out and I put it on my counter. I'll take it out of the mold in about 36 hours or so, maybe like not tomorrow morning, but the morning after. And then I'm going to give it probably 4 days before I cut it. The goat's milk soaps take quite a long time to harden. They're so nourishing and soft, and that's the way they work. So see you next time. That thing back. Put that back.
Put there? Sorry?
Yes. You know that's going to go on YouTube.